Ever wonder why talking to a camera lens feels so uncomfortable? Well, we get that. And today we felt that as well. And today we're going to share several reasons why it's so uncomfortable and what to do about it. Hello, I'm Nancy Walsh.
And I'm Robert Arnot, the video wizard.
Yes.
So one of the reasons about why looking at a camera lens is so weird is there's really that lack of immediate feedback, like no body language. The visual and auditory cues like nods, smiles, and verbal responses are all missing. And when you think about it, when you're doing a Zoom call, there's such a desire to be able to connect with the person that you will be looking at the screen, and then of course the lens sees you looking down and there's no contact, and that is such a drag.
So it's hard for the person watching you to be looking down, seeing you looking down.
And so really the camera lens gives you none of that.
And a camera lens really lacks that human element that, of looking at a face, making interaction feel, the lens feels so cold and impersonal and, a object rather than a person. And staring directly at this small lens just feels unnatural because it's
unnatural.
Just, we never do that, especially talking right into a inanimate object, and it feels so awkward. We get it. We struggle with it too. And it's hard to believe you're talking to someone when you're looking at that lens.
Right. It's like, it doesn't matter how much you pretend, it's really still not like a person. But we're going to
help with that.
Have some solutions. And so, Nancy, do you want to introduce tapping a bit?
So, a few lives ago, we did some tapping on just the uncomfortableness about being on camera, and now we're going to just get it a little bit more dialed in so it's more uncomfortable talking to a small lens. I mean, it really is something that people complain about a lot. And so the tapping is something that if you're not familiar with it, it's called tapping is the kind of the other version of what we call EFT. I mean, the other name for EFT, emotional freedom technique. And so it is like tapping on acupuncture points, but without needles. And what you're talking about while you're tapping is allow the body to calm down in response. And the calm down, the fight or flight response. They've shown that on brain scans that it actually, the tapping and the talking actually helps calm down the amygdala, and it, through using it in many different situations, many different reasons, it can be really useful for clearing things away or changing limiting beliefs. It just is amazing, and wanted to share that with you as well. So
and
I'm going to,
take it from me,
yes.
The engineer, mechanical engineer, that really that energy work is so sometimes hard to wrap my head around, but I have had time and time again such amazing relief and the stress reduction that EFT, we really want to be advocates for it. And so
and I'm a practitioner of EFT,
right,
and also a hypnotherapist, so this is right what I really like helping with. So I'm going to go ahead and lead the tapping, and then Robert's going to mirror me and with both tapping and what I say. And so you can just follow along with what
you can
watch me
us.
and do.
And we start with the side of the hand. They call it karate chop point, and then we'll be going through sequences on the body.
Sounds. So just watch where I'm tapping, and I often usually hit both sides of the clavicle, but because of my mic here, I'm going to be just trying to remember to do on this side. So yes. Anyway, so here we go. Yeah. Oh, before we really start, it is good to think about how that feeling might be for looking into a camera lens. Imagine turning, the camera on, and you're trying to give your talk or going live, and all of a sudden, all you have to, you have to be looking at that little tiny lens and just feel what that awkwardness, that uncomfortableness is, and give it from 0 to 10, how strong that might be, and that helps to kind of measure to see how well the tapping helped in that process, and if you just imagine looking into that lens and have to kind of do your video, it is awkward. So tap into that, imagine that, and see where you are on that, how strong it is. So
if you kind of mimic what I do at following Nancy, that'll help. And I tell you, it's just amazing. So we'll start there.
Go. So when we start out with kind of the what we call the setup, and it has both kind of a positive or a negative and a positive, but then as we tap through just the spots, we start with kind of the challenge, whatever the challenge is, and then after a bit of time, then we go ahead and add some of the positives. So I usually tend to not add the positives until the numbers are down, but for the sake of demonstrating it, we'll just kind of go on through. So, all right, let's start. Okay. So, even though I don't like looking into a camera lens, I'm open to having that get easier. Even though staring directly into a small lens just feels unnatural. Because it's just not something we do. And it feels awkward. I'm open to loving and accepting myself anyway. Yes. And even though it's hard to look into a camera lens, I'm open to getting some help with this. Okay. Looking at the camera lens seems so odd. Talking to an object feels weird. It really does. It's not a real person. And it feels awkward and tense. Yeah. And looking at this lens feels so unnatural. Yeah. And it's like talking to a wall. I miss that immediate feedback I get. Talking to a person. No nods, no smiles.
No verbal response.
It feels like I'm talking into a void. Yes. There's no human connection. No eye contact or body language to look at. And the lens feels so cold and impersonal. Staring at this lens feels unnatural. It does. And it's not like talking to a real person. Yeah. It creates a sense of disconnection. I feel awkward and tense talking to a lens. Hard to express myself like I do when I'm talking to a person. I acknowledge these feelings. Yes. And I'm open to releasing some of them. Or all of them. The camera is just a tool
The camera is just a tool
to capture and convey my message.
to capture and convey my message.
I choose to imagine talking to a client
I choose to imagine talking to a client
on the other side of the lens,
on the other side of the lens,
connecting with them heart to heart.
connecting with them heart to heart.
And I choose to see the camera as a window
I choose to see the camera as a window
rather than a black hole.
rather than a black hole.
To share my authentic presence
To share my authentic presence
with an opportunity to share,
with an opportunity to share
speaking from my heart
by speaking from my heart
with the same warmth and clarity
with the same warmth and clarity
as sharing with a dear friend.
as sharing with a dear friend.
Yes, I release any remaining tension
I release any remaining tension
around this recording device.
around this recording device.
It's just simply capturing my truth
It's just simply capturing my truth
and to amplify my voice and vision.
to amplify my voice and vision
Yeah, the same natural energy
with the same natural energy
I'd share in real life.
I'd share in real life.
The camera is just a means
The camera is just a means
to exponentially expand my reach.
to expand my reach.
And by hitting record, I multiply my impact.
And by hitting record, I multiply my impact
To inspire and empower.
to inspire and empower.
Good. Camera is not an odd obstacle,
The camera is not an odd obstacle,
but an ally to speak my truth.
but an ally to speak my truth.
I've got this.
I've got this.
Yes.
Oh, I feel
right.
better already.
Yes. So now take a deep breath and tune into how you feel about that camera lens now. And let's see if that number is shifted. Use some mind shift changes, just kind of to look at it. But if it still gets uncomfortable, then just start over again and tap again with this. So yeah, just remember that the camera lens really shouldn't be an obstacle, but more a window to share your message. So just kind of, and we have a few other ideas and
Right.
tips that we can help with.
And also, just watching this helps, and tapping along with it helps even more. And now you have the chance to go through it many times, and it will keep helping to
in the replay.
deal with the just making it better and better.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's really great, and thanks, Nance. It seems like so simple, but I know I can feel it in my body. Sometimes I even feel the shift before we even start. It starts to happen. But I also just thinking about what we've been talking about for a while now is don't underestimate the power of preparation. Okay,
that's another tip to reduce your stress.
It's the camera lens stress, just that feeling of putting yourself out there. So if you prepare by planning your key points, prepare your setup, and practice a few times before you record, they'll help reduce anxiety and make your videos way more impactful.
Yeah, and we did that. If you want more information about that, it's on our last
The
video,
previous live
last
stream.
live.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and a couple more tips. Like I said in our tapping, you can try and imagine a good friend right behind the camera. Even put a face right there, along with your notes, if you have a few
Bullet points.
Bullet points. Also, you can pretend that camera is a small window that has your ideal client behind it that you're talking to. So,
Right.
yeah,
Like
get
a
creative.
vortex, an energy vortex going right out to your client.
have to kind of use your imagination a little bit with this, but it can help in, you know, reducing that awkwardness. Just get creative and just imagine and pay attention to who you would want this message for, and just to share that. So
That's right.
yeah, like for us, we want to help people that are just uncomfortable about getting their videos going, and or would like to up level their videos. We've been helping with that, and we've got some good stuff that we're planning on, you know, a course that we're creating. So we can't wait to share more about that soon.
Right. It seems like, you know, if you don't do something about these things that are creating resistance, then in a year from now, it'll still be there. But as we work through it,
or I'll tell you, be where you are, not getting the videos
I was a college professor for 15 years at least, and it was always easy going in the classroom and doing presentations, and everybody loved me. But when I try to get into a studio and it's just me and the camera, everything changes. And these EFT things help, and just being organized. And so
and plan.
Yeah, that's right. And so you want to tell them about the GPT?
So we also, for help, you know, we've created a Chat GPT guidebook. And I'm going to move away from this thing, and it's essential tips and prompts for 10 key marketing videos. It's kind of help you to create prompts to ask the Chat GPT, you know, what could we say, you know, how to, you know, the tone and who you're talking to, all those kind of key prompts that will help you in eliminating that blank page of what you want to say, and gives you a lot of ideas of how you can do different kinds of videos to promote your business.
Right, and things have evolved. Just recently, the company behind ChatGPT released their 4.0 Omni, which is actually free to anybody, and its intelligence and speed is so amazing. And I would suggest that anything you want with your video scripts, or maybe you want to ask it for a tapping script for a certain issue you're having, it'll just give you something that is so amazing.
Get you started.
Right.
It helps you to get started, and you can expand. I always suggest that, even though, you know, that gives you the ideas, to then kind of make it your own, your wording and so forth. But the more you work with a string with Chat GPT, the more it learns what you want by correcting it and saying, oh no, I'd really rather sound a little bit more, you know, conversational, or this, that. And you can get it to really help you to sound more like how you do, but you still want to have your finishing touches be your own. So
So anyways, that's what we wanted to share for today. And I think it's one of the things that can really help that sense that the camera lens is just weird is one of the things that really can be solved pretty quickly. I mean, as you begin to figure out what you want to say and how to say it to people, you still, you know, that thing with the camera lens is something else again. So
and remember, you know, during Zoom, that especially if you're presenting, to pay attention to where your webcam is, you know, rather than spending all your time looking at your screen. You can look away for a bit from the lens to look at a chat roll or you know, some notes or stuff like. But for the most part, if you're presenting on Zoom or you're coaching someone on Zoom, try to pay a lot of attention to looking at the lens, even though it's so hard to not want to look at the person, you know.
I think it's a good subject for an EFT session.
And there are some new electronic stuff that can help with this process of at least being able to look at your screen and the camera at the same time. We'll go into that later. So, okay.
Well, thanks
if you
for
have
being
any
here.
questions, be sure to put it down below, and we'll have the guidebook link down below this video as well. So thank you.
Yep.
Remember, if you've got some benefit from this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe and hit that bell notifications. You know when our next video is coming up. And we appreciate all your support, and leave us a comment, what you've done to help with the camera anxiety. So,
and anything that you might like to see us cover, it'd be very welcomed. Thank you.
Thank you.